Most people think saving their first $1,000 is just as hard as saving the next $10,000. But here's the kicker. They've got it completely backwards, and this misunderstanding is literally keeping them broke. Stick around, because what I'm about to show you is going to flip everything you thought you knew about building wealth on its head. Alright, so picture this. You're looking at your bank account right now. Maybe it says $73, maybe $216 if you're having a decent month. Either way, that first $1,000 feels impossible, right? Like trying to climb Mount Everest in flip-flops. Meanwhile, some finance guy on the internet is telling you once you hit $10,000, the next $10,000 comes twice as fast. And you're sitting there thinking, yeah, sure, buddy, tell that to my credit card bill. But here's the thing, that guy isn't lying. In fact, he's not even telling you the whole truth about how much easier it actually gets. The psychology and math behind why your first $1,000 is exponentially harder than your next $10,000, it's not just motivational BS, it's actual science, cold, hard facts that most people never figure out, and that's exactly why they stay broke forever. So if you're tired of running on a financial treadmill, getting absolutely nowhere despite busting your ass, you're in the right place, because we're about to break down the psychological warfare happening in your brain every single time you try to save money. Okay, before we dive into the brutal math, let me ask you something. When you think about wealthy people, what do you picture? Maybe someone who never struggled, someone who just naturally understood money, someone born with some magical financial gene that you clearly didn't get. Here's the truth, and it's gonna sting a little. The difference between people who build wealth and people who don't has almost nothing to do with how much they earn. It has everything to do with understanding the invisible forces working against them. Your brain is literally wired to sabotage your financial success. I'm not being dramatic. Neuroscientists have studied this. There's something called temporal discounting, which is just a fancy way of saying your brain values instant rewards way more than future benefits. Think about it. Your brain sees spending $50 on dinner tonight as super appealing, but saving that same $50 for some future version of yourself feels about as exciting as watching paint dry. But here's the wild part. The exact same psychological mechanism that makes saving your first $1,000 feel impossible is what makes the next $10,000 feel effortless once you crack the code. We're going to break down the mental barriers keeping you stuck and show you how to turn your brain from your biggest enemy into your most powerful wealth-building ally. First barrier, the house money effect. Your brain treats money differently depending on how you got it. Money from your paycheck feels heavy, important, hard to let go of. But money you found in your jacket from last week, that tax refund, that $20 grandma gave you at Christmas, your brain labels that as play money, and you're way more likely to blow it on something dumb. This is why people with decent incomes still never build wealth. They're mentally sorting their money in ways that sabotage them. Every dollar should be treated the same no matter where it came from, but your brain keeps playing these weird accounting tricks that keep you broke. Then there's your money scripts. These are beliefs about money that got programmed into your head when you were a kid, and they're running your entire financial life whether you know it or not. Maybe you grew up hearing your parents fight about money, so now your brain connects having money with stress and conflict. Maybe you heard "we can't afford that" so often that your brain genuinely believes you're not the type of person who gets nice things. Or maybe money was never discussed, so now you feel this weird shame around even wanting financial security, like it makes you greedy or shallow. These invisible scripts are making financial decisions for you every day, and most people go their whole lives without realizing they're even there. Here's the really messed up part. Your brain evolved to keep you alive, not to make you rich. For thousands of years, humans who survived were the ones who grabbed resources immediately when they found them, because who knows if they'd still be there tomorrow, right? Your brain is still running that ancient software. It prioritizes instant gratification over long-term planning. So when you're trying to save money, you're literally fighting millions of years of evolution. Your brain is screaming, spend it now on something real. What if there's no food tomorrow? What if this chance never comes again? Completely irrational in today's world, but your brain doesn't know that. This is why that first $1,000 feels like climbing a mountain. You're not just fighting your income or your circumstances. You're fighting your own biology. Every time you choose to save instead of spend, you're going against every instinct your brain has built over millennia, and your brain is gonna fight you hard. But here's where it gets interesting. Once you hit certain psychological thresholds, something magical happens. Your brain stops seeing saving as deprivation and starts seeing it as achievement. The same mechanisms that were working against you suddenly flip and start working for you. There's this thing called self-efficacy, basically your belief in your own ability to succeed. When you have $0 saved, $10,000 feels completely impossible. Your brain can't even picture it, so it doesn't try. But once you hit that first $1,000, something clicks. Your brain suddenly has proof that you're the type of person who can save money. This isn't just feel-good psychology, it's actual behavior change. People who save their first $1,000 are way more likely to save their next $1,000 than people who've never saved anything. It's like your brain rewrites your entire story about who you are and what you're capable of. And this is where the math gets really interesting. That first $1,000 is almost entirely about your behavior, spending less than you earn. But once you have money saved, compound growth starts doing work for you. Even with modest returns, your money starts earning money, which earns more money, which earns even more money. Let me show you how this works with real numbers that'll change how you think about money forever. Let's say you save just $100 every month. I know, you're probably thinking $100 might as well be $100,000 right now. But stick with me, because the math is about to get wild. At $100 a month, it takes you exactly 10 months to save your first $1,000. 10 months of saying no to stuff you want. 10 months of feeling like you're making zero progress. 10 months of your friends thinking you've lost your mind because you won't go out anymore. Those 10 months feel like forever because your brain keeps reminding you of all the stuff you could be buying instead. But here's where things start shifting. That same $100 per month after you've got some money working for you starts behaving completely differently. Let's say you keep saving that $100, but now you're earning a conservative 7% annual returns on your investments. Nothing crazy, just basic stock market returns. Your second $1,000 takes about 9 months instead of 10. Your third takes 8.5 months. Your fourth takes just under 8 months. By the time you're working on your 10th $1,000, it's taking you less than 6 months to save each additional $1,000. See what's happening? We're not just talking about time anymore. We're talking about your money literally working harder than you are. While you're sleeping, while you're at work complaining about your boss, while you're watching Netflix, your investments are out there making money. By the time you hit $10,000 saved and invested, something mind-blowing happens. Your investments start generating enough returns that they're doing a huge chunk of the heavy lifting. At 7% annual returns, your $10,000 is earning about $700 per year without you doing anything. That's like almost 2 months of your $100 savings for free. Now your brain gets it. You start checking your account not with dread, but with genuine excitement. You see those monthly gains and think, holy crap, this is actually working. The same psychological forces that made saving feel impossible now make saving feel addictive. This is when people start doing things that seem crazy to their broke friends. They start looking for ways to save even more. They get excited about tax refunds, not to blow the money, but to dump it into investments and watch it grow. They start seeing expensive dinners not as treats they deserve, but as opportunities they're giving up. Your brain has completely rewired. Instead of seeing saving as deprivation, you start seeing spending as the thing depriving you of future wealth. This flip is so powerful that people describe it as life-changing, like they finally get a secret everyone else is missing. And here's the beautiful part. The more money you have working for you, the less dependent you become on your own contributions. Remember, we started with you saving $100 a month, which felt impossible. But when you have $50,000 invested at 7%, that money is earning about $3,500 per year without you doing anything. That's almost 3 times your entire annual contribution happening automatically. At this point, you could literally stop saving and your wealth would keep growing. But most people don't stop. They get so hooked on watching their net worth climb that they save even more aggressively. They realize they're not just building money, they're building freedom. Let's talk about what money actually represents. Most people think money is about buying stuff, but wealthy people understand that money is about buying choices. When you have zero savings, you have zero financial choices. You take the job you can get, not the job you want. You live where you can afford, not where you want. You make decisions based on what you can afford this month, not what's best for your future. But when you have $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 saved, you suddenly have options. You can take risks broke people can't afford. You can quit a job that's killing you because you have a buffer. You can invest in yourself, start a business, take opportunities that need upfront cash. This is why rich people say the first $100,000 is the hardest. It's not just compound interest. It's the psychological transformation that happens when you prove to yourself you're capable of building wealth. Your entire relationship with money changes. Most people never experience this because they quit during those brutal first 10 months. They look at their savings and think, this isn't working. They don't realize they're literally months away from the breakthrough that would change everything. The people who push through discover something that seems magical, but is actually just math and psychology working together. They discover that building wealth isn't about making huge sacrifices forever. It's about making small sacrifices temporarily until compound growth takes over and does most of the work. But here's what nobody talks about. The real power of compound interest isn't just mathematical growth. It's how it changes your behavior once you see it working. People who build wealth don't just save and forget. They become obsessed with optimization. They look for ways to increase income, specifically to invest more. They pay attention to fees and taxes because they know small differences compound over decades. They start making financial decisions based on their future wealth rather than current circumstances. This behavior change is so deep it affects every area of life. They become intentional about time because they understand time and money are connected. They think long-term about everything, not just finances. Meanwhile, their broke friends make the same decisions they made 5 years ago, wondering why nothing changes. Still buying lunch every day because it's only $8. Still financing cars they can't afford because the payment seems manageable. Still living paycheck to paycheck despite multiple raises because they never learned the difference between looking wealthy and being wealthy. The really frustrating part? Watching these friends complain about money constantly while doing absolutely nothing to change. They'll drop $40 on drinks they'll pee out in 3 hours, then claim they can't save $20 a month. They'll buy a $1,000 phone on a payment plan, then say investing is too risky. The cognitive dissonance is stunning. But here's something that'll make you laugh or cry. The average American spends more on coffee each year than they have in their emergency fund. Let that sink in. People are literally more committed to caffeine than financial security. Then they wonder why they feel anxious about money all the time. This isn't about shaming coffee drinkers, by the way. This is about understanding that small financial decisions compound just like investments, except in the wrong direction. That $5 latte every weekday, $1,300 a year, gone, providing nothing but temporary satisfaction and a mild buzz. Now imagine that same $1,300 went into investments at 7% annually. After 10 years, over $18,000. After 20 years, over $53,000. That daily coffee habit literally cost you $53,000 in future wealth. Suddenly, making coffee at home doesn't seem like such a sacrifice, does it? But this is where most financial advice misses the point completely. Experts love shaming spending habits without understanding the deeper psychology. They'll tell you to skip lattes and pack lunch, but won't explain why your brain resists or how to make it stick. Truth is, most spending isn't about money at all. It's about emotion. They buy lunch because they hate their job, and that 20-minute break feels like the only good part of their day. They buy clothes they don't need because shopping gives them a dopamine hit in an otherwise depressing routine. They go to bars because they're lonely, and spending feels like the only way to have a social life. Understanding this is crucial because you can't solve an emotional problem with math. Telling someone buying happiness to just stop spending is like telling someone drowning to just stop getting wet. It completely misses the point. This is why the first $1,000 is so psychologically brutal. You're not just changing spending habits, you're changing your entire relationship with money and emotions. You're learning to find satisfaction in delayed gratification instead of instant pleasure. You're rewiring decades of conditioning that taught you spending equals feeling better. People who successfully make this shift don't do it through willpower alone. They replace spending habits with saving habits that provide similar emotional rewards. Instead of getting excited about buying something new, they get excited watching their portfolio grow. Instead of feeling good about treating themselves to dinner, they feel good adding another $100 to investments. This psychological shift is so powerful, it often happens without realizing. One day, they check their account and notice they're more excited about a $200 portfolio gain than spending $200 shopping. That's the moment building wealth stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like a game they're winning. And here's where the math gets absolutely ridiculous, in the best way. Once you have $20,000 invested, your money earns about $1,400 per year at 7%. That's more than most people spend on coffee, lunch, and impulse buys combined. Your money is literally funding your lifestyle while continuing to grow. At $50,000 invested, returns are about $3,500 annually. That's almost $300 per month you're earning while you sleep. Your investments are generating more passive income than most people save from active income. You've created a part-time job that never calls in sick, never asks for time off, and works 24/7. So there you have it. Your first $1,000 isn't just harder because of math. It's harder because you're fighting your brain's ancient programming while building completely new psychological pathways. But once you break through that barrier, compound interest and compound psychology work together to make wealth building feel almost automatic. The choice is yours. You can keep making excuses about why this won't work for you, or you can start that brutal but brief battle against your own impulses. Your future millionaire self is waiting. How much longer are you going to make them wait?